Welcome to Wrestling Flash. In this WWE and all things wrestling video, we are going to look at the following trending wrestling news. As per Fightful, WWE is attempting to get Stone Cold Steve Austin to wrestle at this year's WrestleMania. It has been 19 long years since Austin retired from pro wrestling due to his injuries. In his last match, the Hall of Famer lost to arch-rival The Rock at WrestleMania 19. WrestleMania 38 is set to emanate from the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, this year. As per the latest report from Fightful, WWE has made an overture to get the Rattlesnake for a huge WrestleMania showdown. Fightful has learned that WWE has made a significant overture towards one of the biggest draws in WWE history, Stone Cold Steve Austin, for an in-ring return at WrestleMania 38 in Dallas, Texas. Austin has not wrestled in 19 years, with his last match taking place at WrestleMania 19. Since then, many WWE superstars have tried to conjure Austin out of retirement, but it hasn't happened out of yet. Fightful also reported that they reached out to WWE in an official capacity but weren't provided with any concrete scoop. The ones who were asked in WWE gave a wide range of answers. Some were coy in their responses, while others said the match would happen at the mega event. Fightful was told that Austin is expected to have a physical role at WrestleMania 38, at the very least. Update. As per the latest scoop shared by Brian Alvarez, WWE is planning to have Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestle current Raw superstar Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 38. Austin is regarded as quite possibly the greatest wrestler ever to step foot in a WWE ring. He usually takes the top spot whenever fans and wrestling personalities pick their Mount Rushmores for pro wrestling. Austin's serious neck injury put him out of action in 2003, but he had already established himself as one of the all-time greats. Austin's rumored return to WrestleMania is bound to provide a huge boost to the event's ticket sales. Would you like to see the Hall of Famer return at WrestleMania? Let us know in the comments below. Brock Lesnar hilariously impersonated WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin during his appearance on the Pat McAfee show earlier tonight. Pat McAfee had a great time chatting with Brock Lesnar on the latest episode of the Pat McAfee show. The SmackDown announcer discussed several interesting topics with the former WWE champion. McAfee was beyond impressed when Lesnar impersonated WWE veteran Stone Cold Steve Austin at one point during the show. Not only did Lesnar impersonate Austin, but he also did an incredible job at it, leaving McAfee in splits. Brock Lesnar and Stone Cold Steve Austin were scheduled to face off in a singles match in mid-2002 on an episode of WWE Raw. The match in question was a King of the Ring qualifier, and Austin wasn't pleased one bit over the booking. The Rattlesnake believed it wasn't a good idea on WWE's part to give away such a huge showdown on a random episode of Raw. Austin quit WWE earlier that day and would return several months later on the road to WrestleMania XIX in 2003. In early 2004, Lesnar and Goldberg kicked off a dream feud as WrestleMania 20 loomed closer. Mere weeks before WrestleMania, Stone Cold officially became the special guest referee for the match. With the mega event on the horizon, Lesnar attacked Austin on an episode of Raw and stole his ATV. A few days before WrestleMania, Austin came to SmackDown and launched a vicious attack on the Beast Incarnate, taking his ATV back in the process. At WrestleMania 20, Goldberg defeated Lesnar. Following the match, Austin hit stunners on both competitors. Lesnar immediately left WWE and returned to the company 8 long years later. Lesnar and Austin have nothing but respect for each other. The former UFC star rarely sits down for interviews, but he appeared on the Stone Cold podcast years ago and had a candid chat with Austin. Lesnar was a guest on the latest edition of the Pat McAfee show. He discussed a variety of topics with McAfee during the episode. At one point, Pat McAfee reminded Brock Lesnar of the infamous Seth Rollins fan attack incident from last November, and the Beast Incarnate reacted by stating the following, in his signature high pitch, "I fooing dare somebody. I dare the next fool." Brock Lesnar is one of the scariest entities in all of pro wrestling. He was the most popular superstar in WWE back during his first run in 2002-04. The incredibly hectic travel schedule and other backstage issues forced him to quit the company after WrestleMania 20. Years later, Lesnar wrote an autobiography and dedicated several chapters to his time in Vince McMahon's promotion. He made it very clear on various occasions throughout the book that he wasn't fond of fan interactions and loved his privacy. Here is an excerpt from the book, in which Lesnar talks about how wanting a private life cost him a lot of money. Over the years, I'm sure that being as private as I am has cost me a lot of money. I could be like one of those media WHEs that shows up anywhere there might be a camera just to keep my name out there, and to keep my face on the TV and in the papers so the endorsements will keep coming in. But that's not me, and I can live with that, wrote Lesnar. Lesnar has been quite receptive to fans ever since turning babyface last year. He has been spotted mingling with fans multiple times on WWE TV over the past few months. Even though his demeanor towards fans has changed a bit lately, he certainly wouldn't be happy with a fan jumping the guardrail and approaching him. The Beast incarnate is a legit MMA fighter, and one would have to be out of their mind to even think of jumping him, be it on WWE TV or in real life. Brock Lesnar has reserved special praise for WWE's Pat McAfee and his color commentary on SmackDown, stating that the former NFL player's commentary is bar none the best. McAfee joined Michael Cole on the WWE SmackDown desk last year after appearing on NXT, as well as part of the pre-show panel. He has been lauded for his work behind the commentary desk and has formed a good partnership with Cole. Pat McAfee had Brock Lesnar as his guest on a recent episode of The Pat McAfee Show, where he praised the former Universal Champion for being welcoming to him when they met for the first time. Lesnar paid back the compliment, praising McAfee's commentary work on SmackDown. "I was a big fan of yours. It was an honor to meet you, and I just got a good vibe. How you get a good vibe when you get a handshake. Good people. I have to tell you, though, you make the show. Friday nights, your color commentary is bar none like the best," said Lesnar about McAfee. McAfee's over-the-top, enthusiastic commentary work has meshed well with the experience and nuanced commentary style of Michael Cole, who has gone on record to say that being alongside McAfee has revitalized his WWE career. "You have completely revitalized my career. I've been doing this for almost 25 years now, and I've seen everything in WWE. You go through different partners over the years, and everybody I've worked with has been great. But you're different than all those guys because you're a true fan," said Cole. Cole stated that McAfee's addition has breathed new life into his commentary and made him step up his game. Amidst reports of a potential feud with Roman Reigns, The Rock has just shared a big tease on Twitter. It has been a while since reports came out for the first time in regards to a possible future WrestleMania match between The Rock and Reigns. The latest report on the mega feud came earlier this month, and it stated that there have been internal talks about having the two superstars collide at next year's WrestleMania. The Rock delivered an electrifying intro at this year's Super Bowl, which was received quite well by the mainstream media as well as the WWE universe. Those who watched the intro might have caught the bit where the Great One used his famous WWE line, "The Millions." He dubbed it an Easter egg in his latest tweet, and added that the millions with a pause is coming soon. For those unaware, The Rock used to pause right after uttering his iconic catchphrase, to let fans repeat it after him. The Rock's tweet resulted in fans coming in droves and speculating about a possible future outing between the People's Champion and the Tribal Chief. It isn't exactly a secret that The Rock and Roman Reigns are cousins in real life. The Brahma Bull has shared the squared circle with Reigns in the past, though the circumstances were quite different back then. At Royal Rumble 2015, Roman Reigns was the eventual winner and received a loud chorus of boos that night. Fans in attendance wanted to see Daniel Bryan win the free-for-all, but he was eliminated quite early in the match. WWE had sensed that Reigns' win wouldn't receive the intended response, and The Rock was brought in during the final moments of the match to help his cousin. After he won the match, the Great One raised his hand. He looked visibly shaken upon seeing that the fans were not reacting well to Reigns' victory. It has been 7 long years since that night. Roman Reigns is the biggest heel in WWE today, and is currently the Universal Champion on SmackDown. The Rock has previously expressed his desire to wrestle his cousin. If Vince McMahon's promotion somehow manages to book this dream match at next year's WrestleMania, it's bound to take the wrestling world by storm. What do you think? Would you like to see these two megastars face off at the Show of Shows?